Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan. Today, a little bit of a double feature. We'll do double feature. We'll do like California versus Kentucky. Sound good? Cali versus Kentucky. So I've got two things here that I've yet to try. One of them is a bit of a dark horse. It's a bit of an enigma to me. So one of our Patreon members and members of our Discord community, Kels, reached out to me. He lives in California. He's like, because we've talked about this before, like there's just not a lot of good California whiskey. Like outside of Redwood Empire, be honest with me, if you're watching this video, is there anything on your shelf that was distilled and aged in California? Because I don't have anything. Other than Redwood Empire, there's no California whiskey anywhere here. Cali's more known, obviously, for the red wines and things like that. It's a wine country. So anyways, he finally found a bottle. He's like, listen, I found a California whiskey that's pretty good. And he sent me a sample of it. Now, like I said, bit of an enigma to me. It's Sonoma Distillery. Sonoma Rye, 93 proofed. It's 80-20 rye and malted rye. Okay, 80-20 rye and malted rye. Interesting. But the reason it's an enigma is because their website doesn't work. Ever since I got this bottle, I have tried to visit their website, and it's just like, you know, the He's Dead Jim stuff comes up. So I'm like, I don't even know where to start here. So this is a wild card. We'll try it. We'll see if it's any good. All I know is that other websites that sell their product have it listed for anywhere between $35 and $40 for this bottle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pour it. Let's start opening up, and I'll tell you what the other one is. Anyway, so the other bottle here is Angel's Envy Cask Strength. Now, the Angel's Envy Cask Strength doesn't, correct me if I'm wrong, off the top of my head, I don't think this releases until, was it like November each year? So this is actually the end of 2024 one, which means it doesn't make it to Michigan until like February of the following year. So Mikey P in our Discord community and Patreon group was just like, I'm just going to send you some. And he sent this to me like a month ago. I'm just now getting around to it. But we'll try this one out too, see how it is. Yeah, Mikey, Kels, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your generosity. If I haven't said it before, I appreciate each and every person that sends in whiskey samples for me to review here on the channel because... believe it or not, my channel isn't big enough to make me millions of dollars and buy every bottle out there. So the only reason I can pump out as much content as I do is because you guys help supplement what I can get on my own with some of the stuff that's on your shelf, which means we can cover more stuff. I appreciate it. Let's kick things off here with the enigma, the dark horse, the Sonoma Rye. Well, that's wild. The very first thing I get on the nose of this is like banana runts, like banana candy. Which isn't the same thing as like a fresh banana, right? Those two flavors are a little bit different. This is like banana candies. A little bit of saltwater taffy maybe. And then there's this note I tend to get on some craft whiskeys like some Hill Rock products, some Rock Filter products. But it's this note of like dusty grain. You know what I mean? Just like if you were in harvest season to walk into a barn just after it's been out in the fields and there's like that dusty grain quality in the air. Maybe there's a pile of loose corn nearby, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Actually, it's a pretty appealing nose. I kind of like it. Not overly complex, but nice. That banana, taffy, loose grain. Very cool. Well, let's try it. Cheers. That's not bad. For a $35 bottle of whiskey, it's not bad. Get a lot of those dusty grain notes on the palate. The banana is right on the tip of your tongue, right as soon as it hits your palate, and then it kind of fades away. It comes back in the finish. It kind of lingers there a little bit. A little sweet banana. Banana runts. It's like this little yin and yang thing going on between the banana and this sort of tannic oak and loose grain. You know what I mean? They play pretty well with each other. I think this is a pretty decent sip for $35. One thing I will note is that, what was the proof on this? 93. It was 93 proof. I will say it has a nice viscosity for a 93 proof whiskey. I don't know if you can see this, but it's leaving these really thick, oily runs coming down the side of the glass. Can you see that on the camera? I don't know. But yeah, it's actually pretty viscous. Yeah, for $35, that's pretty good. All right, Callie, I wasn't familiar with your game. Thanks, Kels, for sharing that with me. Oh, pretty tasty. Now, we move on to Angel's Envy Cask Strength. Again, this is end of 2024 release. It might be, depending on where you are, you might start seeing this on your shelves, last month and on into the summer a bit. So what do we know about this? Finished in ruby and tawny port barrels, right? Ruby and tawny. Beautiful color to it. This comes in at 118.8 proof, and I believe the MSRP is like around 230 bucks. So it's not a cheap bottle by any stretch of the imagination. The tricky thing about this is that giving it an age statement is kind of a challenge because they actually used the Solera aging process, which if you're not familiar with that, it's basically where they take a barrel and as they drain it, they put more whiskey on top. So they keep refilling the barrel, right? Does that make sense? So it's like sort of like the whiskey's been aged in this barrel for some amount of time and it's blended with some of the whiskey that was in that barrel. So it could be a blend of 6 and 8 and then it got drained a little bit, and that little bit that they drained, they put it in another barrel that was with 4-year-old stuff and that got drained a little bit. You know what I mean? So the whiskey's sort of constantly moving around from barrel to barrel. And because of the way that we just, describe the age of a whiskey, that makes it a little problematic. But I think it's estimated to be around 8 years old overall. But the most important thing is, how does it taste? Let's get in here. There's 2 things that jump out to me on the nose here. The first is this peanut brittle note, which I'm a big fan of on a bourbon. I love a good peanut brittle, that crunchy toffee with peanuts inside of it. Front and center for sure. But then there's also like this raspberries and cream kind of a note I'm getting. Almost like a cheap cheesecake, then you put fresh raspberries on, instantly makes it better. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So, raspberries and peanut brittle on the nose. Pretty nice. Let's try it. Cheers. Yeah. Big toffee up front with a ton of oak. Big oak presence on the palate of this, but it's not all bitter oak. It's sort of offset by that sweet toffee and that nutty quality. The raspberries I don't get up front on sip number 1. They come around into the late palate and stretch a bit into the finish. Let's try it again on second sip. See if we can pick up some more of that. Yeah, I'd stand by that. I think the port influence comes late in the palate and stretches into the finish quite a bit. And that's where those fruity notes like the raspberries are coming along. Other than that, you definitely do get a lot of that toffee and peanut right up front. That's sort of like the star of the show. And then you're reminded later that this was finished in port barrels. But it's got big, bold flavor to it. It's certainly not bashful. I like that. Not overly complex, pretty straightforward, but all the notes that you do get are quite pleasant. I don't think there's anything at all that's wrong with this sip. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I'd sit with that for a little bit. The more I sip it, the more I get that, almost like that wine cellar funk, which I love that note. I didn't get it right initially on the first couple sips, but the more I sit with it, the more that sort of comes forward. So if that's your vibe, you might like this bottle. 2 very different products. One, 35 years old. 35 years old. $35 coming out of California. Not 35 years old. The other one, Cask Strength Bourbon, Kentucky. Hey, thanks for sharing, gentlemen. I really appreciate that. Yeah, hey, I will ask you this. Of these 2, based on the price tag and the profiles that I described, which one would you pick? If you went to the liquor store right now, and those are the only 2 bottles, and you had to leave with something, what are you leaving with? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning into the video today. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed it, would you let me know by leaving a like on the video, as that is the best free way to support the content right here on YouTube. Definitely check out our Discord community. Totally free to join. There's a link in the description. We also have a Patreon group. The base tier is just $1. It's basically free. All that money goes to support the bottles we pick up and review here on the channel, but it also gives you access to some of the cool events that we do, like our virtual bottle share, which we just closed. That filled up pretty quickly this time around. I think this is like the 4th one that we've done. So we do this pretty frequently, so you definitely want to get involved in these. It's a great time. It's like adult show and tell, where you basically pick a bottle per the theme of that bottle share, and then send out very legally, I might add, we get the samples to each other, and then you receive samples from like 11 different bottles, right? So you're sending out 1, receiving 11. So you get to try a ton of cool stuff, and everybody gets to sort of talk about their bottle, why they picked it, what makes it special, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to get involved in stuff like that, check out our Patreon group. And with that, I say cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.